So I think, firstly, we should sort of qualify this, because in a lot of cases in large universities, and particularly in basic science courses, which may have 100 or 150 students in them, most students are not receiving that much personal guidance from educators. They're essentially being taught. They're being lectured to. Now, in some schools, there's more case-based learning. But again, the ability of a faculty member to spend individual time with individual students is vanishingly rare. And students tell us all over the world that what they want is more personalized attention. And I think that this is, as I've said sort of earlier on, the opportunity for AI is that students have this personal tutor by their side. And they have a thing. Now, we should be really careful about this. This thing is not thinking, and this thing is not understanding medicine. So this thing is doing what AI does, which is predicting the next word in a sentence. But they have a tool that enables them to ask questions at the time when they need the answer and in ways that they need to ask and answer the question. Now, there are all sorts of caveats around this. And as I've said, we're at the very much the beginning of the beginning. But if we start to think about how and where and when students need support that their teachers are either not able, due to a matter of time or capacity, to deliver, tools can be built to support students. And I think we need to think about how students will use AI tools natively. ChatGPT off the shelf, download it, don't buy the professional edition, off we go. Versus tools that are intentionally designed by educators, by people like ourselves, where we are thinking at a sort of scaled level about how students can be helped and where students particularly need help and where we can balance that exam passing with understanding sort of tension. And so out of the box, students have something that can help them. Can it help them in the best possible way? Probably not. Now, I can see that medical institutions will want to complement the feedback that ChatGPT, Claude, etc. gives to students with the learning objectives and the guidelines of their own courses. This is like a very obvious first step. If you're learning about the respiratory system, you would want, if you're a student at Imperial, to be guided by the learning objectives of Imperial. And this is a very straightforward step. I mean, this is within our grasp right now, that one can say, well, let's condition the answer based on this. The other thing is, how does this align to particular students' strengths and weaknesses? And I don't mean in the sense of sort of learning styles. I mean much more in the sense of some students are very strong at mathematics. They easily understand mathematical concepts and can move very quickly. Other students find mathematics much harder, and therefore their AI tutor, their individual tutor, should be attuned to this over the lifetime of their journey. And I think one of the major challenges is, how can that AI tutor become your AI tutor, not an AI tutor that responds to you in roughly the same way as it responds to someone else. And how can it remember your journey and reflect on what you have learned and how you've learned it and how you've applied it, and then feed that into the guidance it's giving you that sits alongside the teaching that an educator can give you. But I would want to sort of close out by saying that for those students lucky enough to have had great teachers, that is the truly memorable piece of education, and that great teachers can help students see the world in ways that student couldn't have imagined. And I may be old-fashioned, I don't see AI replacing that very complex, very nuanced relationship between a great teacher and a student who is at the beginning of their career.